use 5-minute increments. Hello. Welcome
Hi.
to the weirdest thing you and I have potentially ever done together.
Yes.
But it sounded like a fun idea in our heads. So we're doing commentary on the Esterbrook sale like it's a sports event because it sounds funny. Will it be as fun as it seems? Who knows? I think this would have been more entertaining last week when they were auctioning off all the limited edition pens.
Right.
But they are auctioning off a bungo box this week.
That's expensive. Yeah.
And it is currently at $500.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens this evening. Plus, everything they're selling this evening comes with a vintage nib adapter and vintage nibs.
Yeah.
Also, we should start by saying Esterbrook has not endorsed this. I do have an affiliate for Esterbrook. I do work with Esterbrook on occasion. Esterbrook has not endorsed tonight's programming. This is we're going to do it. If they get upset, we won't do it again type of situation. So we'll see what happens.
Right. I bought all the stuff on my own, so I have zero affiliation with them.
I have many Esterbrooks. None of the pens I have are actually part of tonight's sale. The only core color pen I have is the Scarlet, which has now been discontinued.
I have that one too. That was actually one of my first pens I got.
I love it. So pretty. I'm so sad they've discontinued it. And so were the comments on this video because they didn't publicize they were discontinuing it. And then suddenly it wasn't anywhere. And I'm like tracking it down in European pen shops for people who can't get them anymore.
Right. I think I saw it maybe somewhere along the lines of like Farney's or something like that. You know, like one of those stores you don't really you kind of have to look to find things in the first place.
Yeah. All right. I'm excited to see how Lori does this tonight because none of them are one-offs or limited edition pens. Like it's just everyday basics. There are 6 that Esterbrook has currently. Do you have any of the 6 that are still available?
Sorry, say it again.
Do you have any of the 6 that are still available?
No, I don't think so. Wait, what? Well, yeah, that's it. Like the core ones?
Yeah.
6. That's what we determined.
It's only 6.
Yeah, since Scarlet is not one of them, no. I don't. I really don't anymore.
We're great people to be providing live commentary on this Esterbrook sale on.
But we have all the other ones.
We do. We have many other Esterbrook pens. And I love Botanical Garden. I love Nouveau Blue. I love Sea Glass. They're all on my list at some point. They're just not in my collection currently. And I'm realizing on the other side of this paper is a pen review people haven't seen yet. But I don't honestly care. So if anyone figures out what pen is on the other side of this paper, you know what Wednesday's video is next week. We are 21 seconds away from this sale supposedly starting.
All right. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13.
Do you have any of the Esterbrook vintage nibs?
I do. I actually have one and only. Okay. We're almost there.
Okay, here's a good question. Where is it all happening? It is happening on a site called Whatnot, which is not something I've ever used. It's something a whole bunch of other people are using, and Esterbrook is using for their sales.
There's Lori now.
Yeah.
There we go. It's all on.
And we're going to try and show their actual stream very minimally so that Esterbrook doesn't copyright claim me.
It's a good idea.
But there are many people watching this sale over on Whatnot.
And so what we're doing, I'm just watching it straight on while Alexandra can listen to it as well.
Yeah. I've got an earbud. So you do have an Esterbrook vintage nib.
I do. I have a medium flexible, so I could not, pass on that one.
That's fair. Because that is the cool thing about tonight's sale, is that you get the adapter for the vintage nibs, and they're also sending you a vintage nib, which is the only reason the sale is appealing to me tonight, because I don't yet have any vintage Esterbrook nibs in my collection.
I'll show you real quickly. Whoop. This is how it looks like. You basically buy it with the black adapter part. You can stick it on anything. Actually, if you have a roller ball of Esterbrook's, you can do that too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's exactly the same part, only this part is different. So if you're on Hot Tip on eBay and someone's selling off, which I've seen lots of like roller balls for nothing, you can get one. All right, so what's going on with Lori?
She's making people mods, including Shannon. If you don't know, Shannon of Couture Pens is the mod for the Esterbrook Discord. If you're not part of the Esterbrook Discord, you will see a whole bunch of sneak peeks over there. It's pretty much all that the Esterbrook Discord currently gets used for, is sneak peeks and new products.
Oh, friend William is here. Hi.
William is here. So I don't have any vintage Esterbrook nibs either. I am of the belief, though, that when I get pieces like that for my collection, then I end up getting things like the vintage nibs. Right. But is the vintage nibs a rabbit hole I want to go down?
I don't think. I think some of it is great. Some of it is a little overrated. I think you should be very selective.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
I don't have any Esterbrooks yet soon, though. I would say that I am slowly acquiring a massive Esterbrooks. I know you call a group of pelican pens a flock. I don't know what we call a massive Esterbrook pens, but I have many. Though as much as I love the SD, and I talked about this last week, I think the JR is my favorite. There's just something about it that I adore. It's the same size as a Pelican M200, but it's just, oh, I love it.
Yeah, I only have a J, so I can't really contribute.
And that's the one Esterbrook model I don't have. I don't have a J. Maybe Chicago.
Maybe.
I'm saving up all my Esterbrook credit for Chicago, and we'll see what I end up picking up at the show.
Right. So, question: when did they start it up with Estes? Was it 2019 or something like that?
I think it was about 2019, because they brought back Esterbrook as a line in 2018.
Okay.
And I believe it started with the JR. Because the JR is a design based off of a legacy Esterbrook design that used to be a lever filler.
Yeah, and it's smaller too.
It is. But the original JR pen is actually, I at Scriptus, I got to have one of each in my hand. It's the same size. It's great. It was super cool. I like the Model J more than Estes. Again, I don't have a Model J yet. Or ebonite more than acrylic. I don't know that I own anything in ebonite.
I think that's very personal. It's a personal taste. Some people just don't like the smell of it.
That's fair. I don't love... I have celluloid. I don't love celluloid. Wanting to get the adapter, but what nibs would I buy? So the Esterbrook vintage nibs, you tend to be able to find at pen shows, I've found, or on eBay.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time in a very long time Esterbrook themselves has offered them for sale.
I think they used to sell them, at least it used to be an option when I was buying mine. But I had one that I found on eBay at that point. So, I didn't really take that up on that offer. But I think they had quite a few And now it seems like they're only selling them maybe at the show. Because you were working at their table. Did they have any vintage nibs then? Or
We didn't have vintage nibs, but we also didn't have the vintage adapter.
oh,
We had the specialty nib grinds, but we had none of the vintage stuff.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would check my channel at around 11 a.m. tomorrow, as well as Instagram. And that's all I'll say on that.
Yep. I mean, I've seen something along those lines listed on some stores.
Yes.
Already. And I think that was a mistake.
I believe Yoast already has it up, and some of the Japanese pen stores already have it up.
Yeah.
The official release time is 11 a.m. tomorrow. So that is when you should see it in more pen stores and on Esterbrook.
All right. All right. So what's going on?
They're holding a giveaway for one of the butterfly page clips. I don't have a butterfly page clip. I had a bee page clip, which I loved. And then it fell off my desk and it hit with one of the legs.
Mm-hmm.
And the leg broke off. And I haven't replaced it. It's still pretty. It's just not as functional.
I think they're having a big sale right now, right? You can technically get one at some point.
They are. And they're available on Whatnot for quite a good price. People are picking up Estes because you can buy them with the converter.
Mm-hmm.
Our entire show last week, William, was on pens. But currently, my favorite this week has been this one, which is the Pelican Rose Quartz with Pink Eraser from Ferris Wheel Press in it. And what else?
I think I have mine somewhere here.
I think that's what I've been using mostly this week. Bees on. Yeah, so that's because they're running a special and whatnot. You can use Alexandra 10 on Esterbrook to save 10% on, I believe, everything. But Whatnot tonight would still be a better deal.
All right, you guys want to see what I have? So it's someone you and I talked about, Rob from Rob's Penworks.
I love Rob.
He's a friend of mine too. And this was a fun one. So I have currently commissioned the second pen that is in works from him. But this one was fun and I wanted it because like you can change up the sections. And this one actually holds a Kakimori nib that is now somewhere else. Well, but actually you can use any nib in here. So that was the reason why I wanted this. And this is ebonite. And this kind of, you know, smells funky because it's ebonite.
Yeah, that's a fun combination for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
The SD Bungo box is actually the auction pen tonight. Currently, it is at $500. So anyone who managed to get the last two at Scriptus, we had two. Both were sold before the show started.
Would you want to say how much it was? Price that?
Retail.
Retail? How much was the retail?
$195. We sold them for retail at the show.
We'll see how much it's gonna go for.
No, one second, not $195, $295 Canadian.
$295 Canadian, which is what?
Julia, 500. Whoa, yeah. And so the live bidding hasn't actually started. Those are just people's pre-show bids. So it'll be interesting. It's also interesting. They only seem to have listed 6 of each pen available on Whatnot. 6 extra fine, 6 broad, 6 medium of everything. I would still keep mine. Honestly, same. I sort of regret not picking one up. I know who the 2 went home with. Like I know who has the last 2 that Esterbrook sold at an event. And also, like, I've got a different Esterbrook that on the secondhand market right now is selling for quite a lot. The Golden Gratitude right now, I saw somebody list theirs recently for, I think it was 600.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're going to release that one again.
I don't think they're going to release it again, but I'm also not planning on selling mine. I love it. Julia would keep her bungo box as well. Yeah, I think anyone that has one is going to keep it, especially if they have the custom nib on it with the engraving.
Yeah, I have some of the old stuff that I actually like better than the new stuff. It just is. It's like a very personal thing. I have this old Esterbrook Nook. I guess they call it pen nook, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I do like these because these were like very different from the ones they now have. It's just, it doesn't have a strap, but it doesn't open easily. And I like that.
No, and I do like those. So I really liked their canvas cases. They're 20 pen ones, and I didn't get one. And I regret it because they're impossible to find now. They've been discontinued. So I'm hoping they come out with something similar this year, because as much as I love the Nook sort of case, I don't want another huge 12 pen case.
Right.
I want something compact for pens at times. I love a needlepoint I haven't tried Kirk's needlepoint, but I love a needlepoint nib. Ooh, we're looking at Botanical Garden.
Ooh, all right.
One of my favorite pens. What I was going to get before I found out Scarlet was being discontinued.
I'm looking at it. It's very nice.
Pretty. Here. Oh, she's not showing it anymore. I was going to flip my phone. Whatever. It is a great nib. Honestly, I don't know that you can go wrong with a specialty grind. And I do like that Esterbrook, when they're in stock, you can get specialty grinds from them. Like, I love a mini stub.
Right.
Kirk's mini stub from Esterbrook is spectacular.
I think they currently have it on some pens, but also I think you can buy it separately. It's around $90 though.
Oh, is it actually available separately right now? It's never available separately.
Yeah.
Nibs by here. Let's see which specialty nibs are available separately.
And I think the gold is around $250. So you can also upgrade that way too. So one of the things that I was thinking about is also that it's the same nib for SD and Model J, right? And JR is a different type.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like that's another reason why those two probably are very popular models. So easy to work with them.
So my goals for this year are Journaler and Scribe, because I love those two nibs. But the Touch Show is also really fun.
That's the one I want.
It just is never in stock. To the extent that I think they've pulled it as an option from the website.
They had it, not the Raven. Raven was like this, not like, it's not like a shiny finish, right? Of SD. There was like a shiny black SD and there was a Raven. Am I thinking right?
Yeah, so there's the Ebony Black, which is
that's the one. So Ebony Black, I think you could still get. Atlas has a couple of specialty nibs with that one, because I'm thinking maybe it was not as popular, so they have more options on it.
I like what they no longer exist, and Anderson Pen Company. Anderson did. Where when they got their specialty nibs in stock, they would post what nibs they had, and then you could put them in any of the SDs that they had in stock. I love that way of doing specialty nibs, because there are pens that those specialty nibs just stick around in because they're not as popular. And then there are pens that you can basically never get the specialty nibs in.
Right.
My goal this year is to get a needle on my 2K. Oh, that would be fun. I have the same blank as Botanical Garden on the Franklin Christoph. Okay, how do you like the Franklin Christoph Model 46? Because I've always sort of overlooked Franklin Christoph pens.
Me too. I have
And I
no
sort of feel
opinion.
bad for that because everybody raves about them. They sort of feel like a club that I'm not part of, for lack of a better way to describe it. Hello.
Hi.
The mini stub is great. It is my favorite nib.
Yeah, I need to get one.
Yeah. My favorite. Okay, that's good to hear. Well, I might have to try one at Chicago this year. I love Julia's channel too. Julia's a fantastic person.
Yep, she definitely is. I've learned quite a few things from her.
I watched her nib video a couple days ago and went, I need to get my nibs way more organized before Chicago. Because I only have specialty grinds on a couple pens and I still get them confused.
Yep. Well, yeah, it's a process. I feel like I've gone in my channel. I'm finally done some watercolor molding video, so I'm gonna take that next. So I have kind of like, all over the place attention. I got pens, I get watercolors, I got everything. All right, so what's going on? She's talking about vintage nibs.
Oh, she's explaining the vintage nibs. You don't get to pick what vintage nib you get.
Really? That's interesting.
I don't know that I like that.
Yeah. I mean, so the thing is they might not have a lot left. So
if I was getting one, I'd want to pick what I was getting.
That's
hence why I'd only get one at a pen show. Like,
that's very fair. But I think we're also like coming to the weird question of like when they acquired a company, did they acquire all the stock of the old nibs? Like maybe they didn't.
Or have they been, because it was a quote unquote dead company that they revived, have they just been slowly stockpiling nibs?
Right. I think they've been sold off. So it is what it is. You basically go on eBay. That's like, I feel like that's what they recommend in general, going on eBay and finding that way. Which is not ideal. I do understand that. But what can you do?
There are 13 nibs available that people might get. Oh, they're all new though.
Oh yeah, mine was new too. So I got it from eBay, and the person had it completely new. It was like in the case. So yeah, no, it's really fun. I will tell you, it behaves very kind of sort of differently than your regular nib. So
Julia, yikes. Yeah, honestly, I agree with that. Like if I'm getting a vintage nib for my pen, like I have two, we've talked about this on the channel before in the past. I have two incredibly damaged celluloid pens that I picked up last year in Chicago that have been sitting on my desk for nearly a year at this point, because at some point the nibs are going to be harvested out of them.
Right.
The celluloid is chipped and has holes in it. Like, they aren't repairable pens. The nibs are great though.
Right.
So I want the nibs. But I picked these up knowing that I liked the nibs in them.
Right.
Whereas I don't know that I would spend.
Yeah, she's showing how it's looking. Basically, same thing I have. Yeah, I mean, it's really is an acquired taste. I don't know. I think quite a few people are not comfortable with vintage nibs.
Yeah, like, and even I like vintage nibs. I love my vintage pens. But I know I don't like a vintage extra fine. And
That's
I
true.
think I'd be really, really frustrated and maybe a bit pissed off to open a vintage extra fine in the mail.
Well, my medium flexible actually feels like a fine / extra fine. Yeah. Because they're so, I guess I'll have to show you with like a regular nib. They are so much finer. They're just smaller in general. And they also used to use them for very different purposes than we did.
Yeah. And like there were apparently, according to the comments, there were over 200 styles of Esterbrook nibs produced.
A lot. And they produced a lot in the UK as well.
Yeah. So they only have 13 right now. But
yeah, so that's
yeah.
I think overall it's an interesting idea. It's a great idea too.
I think it is. I sort of wish it was like when ordering from some of the pen stores where you can like make a request. They don't have to follow through with your request, but you can at least make the request.
Right.
You've at least provided input over what you would like or use.
Now I have an idea. You know how some companies, well, that's probably a little bit more like luxury companies do that. They kind of buy back your old stuff and kind of revive it and then sell it on. They could do that.
Like Coach does.
Right.
Yeah.
Esterbrook could do that.
They could.
They could pull the nibs.
They could pull the nib. There are a lot of broken vintage Esterbrook's on the market where the sacks are completely destroyed and the levers are destroyed, and there are very few people that replace the levers anymore. Maybe you've just given Esterbrook an idea.
Yay!
Esterbrook needs to be, buying pens back and pulling nibs. Back to Franklin Christoph. I don't know either of these grinds. Both of them sound exciting. And I will be looking into them before Chicago.
Yeah, I know of Masayama stuff, but I've never tested one. So,
all right. Well,
all right. So
at this point, YouTube members are funding my Chicago nib work.
Nice.
Yep. I am too, and that's the thing. If I could pick my nib like Marina did when she ordered from eBay, I would be totally fine with this.
All right, she's showing the honeycomb.
Oh, we're looking at the honeycomb. Not my favorite pen.
That's what I've heard from people, but actually this is probably a little bit more favorable than Tortoise. Tortoise is the one that I've heard a lot of complaints about. I
did like honeycomb in person, and I liked it more than Tortoise. It seems boring for an Esty.
But that's why it's core.
But that's even compared to something like the ebony black. Right. I like ebony black with the gold trim. It's great. Oh, they're about to do the auction.
Woohoo! Right.
Like 90% of what Esterbrook does is a labor of love. Just being honest, like you can send your pen back to Esterbrook if there's an issue with it. And
listen, I think they're making good amounts of money, but I think I like what they do with the community, and I think that is worth a lot more for me.
Oh, they're auctioning off the Bungo box.
Woohoo! All right, 510 at this point. We'll see how far that's gonna go. We got 43 bids from what I see.
Do you want me to read out numbers, or do you want to?
I mean, I see some stuff, but you hear some stuff. I can totally read like what I see, but then you definitely have to chime in what you hear her talking about. So apparently free shipping. That's good.
Yeah. It should be if you're spending that much on a pen. Right. Honestly, you should not be having to pay the $8 shipping fee domestically. It's not free international shipping.
All right.
So when you send a pen back to Esterbrook, it goes to the lovely Justin, who was on the channel this week. Oh, it's so pretty.
Oh, it is. Actually, I am not one to go for pinks that much, but that one was intriguing to me because it looks similar to the white one,
Yes.
but this is more kind of much more fun. So, did she sell?
It's very, so in person it's very different from the white one. I'm not watching the Whatnot show, but I'm here for this. Honestly, that's why we exist.
That's why we're doing
because
it.
not everyone wants to sign up for another platform.
Right.
We're here for those people that don't want to be on another platform.
I don't want to bid, but I want to, participate in it. So
we want to make commentary on it.
I know. So she's still showing it. It looks much more translucent to me.
All right.
Right?
I have 2 Esterbrook Bungo Box and Winter White Estes. I love them both. I love the Winter White.
The reason why I didn't go for it was because it just stains. That's all.
All right. If you don't do a garden video, I'm unsubscribing. That's fair. At this point, I suspect there'll be a garden video just to fulfill my own self because I feel like it.
Right. We all have lives and interests.
We all have lives and interests. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that those lives and interests involve baking bread and making homemade Cheez-Its and caring for very high maintenance plants. Like you do. But I'm having fun with gardening stuff this year and like collecting random seeds for plants. Oh, it's about to start. This is also a prototype one, which could be why it's going for so much.
Ooh, all right. Stakes are high. All right, so she starts it, I guess. And definitely, I want to talk prototypes with you because there are differences with regular pens, not only the colorways.
All right.
All righty.
She's still explaining that the clock resets if it goes below 10 and somebody bids.
Now, that's the thing. It's exciting for some people, but for some people, it's a little too much anxiety, me included. All right.
166 people are watching this.
Woohoo. And they will have a couple of these sales. It's not a lot.
Oh, it started. No one's bid so far. Still at 510 US.
People have 20 seconds to do so. It literally is half a minute to decide if you want to spend this much money on it.
Oh, is no one going to bid? 530?
Yes.
540?
540. And
is it going to go 570?
570.
$590.
Oh man, and it kind of resets every time that happens.
I like that it goes back up to 10. 620, 640.
Oh my god. I'm not sure.
650.
Okay, you call it.
$650.
Yep, dude.
Julia, it sold for $650.
So, Julia, it seems that every time someone bids, it kind of sets back.
Every time somebody bids, it resets back 10 seconds so that other people have time to see that somebody's rebid. But I had a 3-second delay, so it was only resetting to 7 for me. What's a bingo box?
I like the bingo box. It should be a pen.
It should be a pen. BUNGUBOX, Bungo Box, is a Japanese something or other. I think it's a pen store. I want to say.
Yeah, it's a famous store.
And they have done a collaboration with Esterbrook. They've done some collaborations with Sailor over the years. This last Esterbrook one has been incredibly popular. Hot take. I love the Winter White Esty, but wish I would have gotten... Ooh, that is a hot take. I've heard it mostly the other way, that people wish they'd gotten the button filler because it was white and you could see the converter through the pen.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So I'm interested to see why that's your opinion. I think that, yeah, I still would like to add one to my collection at some point. People actually like this, Marina.
We're not the only ones who are interested in commentary.
We're not the only ones that are interested in our weird commentary of an auction.
So
we did this to each other last week, and then went, we should be streaming this.
I was just holding the coffee cup.
I miss the prototype sales that were. I agree with this. I doubt we'll see the days of Esterbrook selling prototypes at pen sales again, now that they know that they can do this. And I'm saying that because we did sell prototype Model Js at Scriptus. And we only sold them for, I think, $40 more than a normal Model J. I don't think we're going to see that again.
Was it you or someone else who said they wish that these auctions would be like for a benefit, you know?
It wasn't me, but I'm not against. I wish part of it was going to. I wasn't me, but I do agree that I wish part of it was going to a charitable cause.
Right.
It seems like a lot of money for a pen that normally they would be selling at a pen sale for about the same amount.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, some people are very interested, you know, in things that are first and the only. And I don't know, you know, it's like I see as a collector, I see traction in that. But also, they might just change their mind and release that colorway later.
Exactly. You might have bought a prototype thinking it's one of one, and then, which is what happened with somebody in Winter White. Apparently, they bought the prototype, and then 3 years later, Esterbrook released the colorway. I don't know how I would feel if I'd spent all that money only for that to happen. OMG, 510.
No more.
The final price was actually 650 USD. Somebody had money to burn on a pen tonight. That person was not Marina and I.
No, that's why we're here.
But we're here. We're here talking to you and having a great time. Yes, it's a store in Japan. Good. I know a little bit. They've also done collabs with Quaco and Lamy. Apparently, there's also a sudden death mode on this site. I'm sort of glad they're not using sudden death. I think this is more fun rather than the clock just all of a sudden ending.
Oh my. So that was just like a taste, a preview.
Yeah. I'm not Julia. I don't know that I can answer this fully. But I've had this Benu eyedropper for, what is it now, since October?
Mm-hmm.
And it still hasn't stained. So I think it all depends on the ink you use.
Oh, meanwhile, do you remember what Esterbrook I wanted? And I got it for much less than this on here.
You're Jurassic.
No, I wanted. I missed out on the evergreen.
Oh,
so it arrived.
How did you get your hands on an evergreen?
Someone had a couple of Estes and hated them. An old collector, and so he sold it off. He's an older gentleman, so he sold it off for me to me for like under 100. So,
Julia, I have the fix for this. The fix is that the nibs are interchangeable, but not the feeds and housings. We discussed this last week. with Vanessa and Lori. And I've got one of each somewhere in the studio, but I don't know where they are. And so you can switch the nibs, but not the feeds and housing. I hope that helps.
Yeah.
If you switch the feeds and housing, putting it in a normal Esterbrook will cause it just to dump ink. I can't believe people pay that much for an SD.
That's what I'm saying.
Last week, I believe the top prototype went for nearly $1,000.
Right.
US. Push button over the cartridge converter. All of mine so far are cartridge converters. I do really want a push button though.
Me too. I do. I actually looked at it and thought about it, and then I decided I don't want to pay that much for it.
That's fair. I'm hoping I'll get one on the secondhand market.
Same.
2 prototypes.
Oh, hot tip though. Atlas Stationaires had really cheap SDs the other day.
There are 2. I believe they're still in last chance, or they were a couple hours ago when I checked.
$95. The whole set, writer bundle. You get
everything, and the writer's bundle this year included the ridiculous little black or silver puffer jacket for your pen, which is absolutely hysterically ridiculous, and I adore it. Because what does your pen need? A black puffer jacket.
No. Cold outside.
According to Julia, there's some staining, but it's not terrible. Starting to be noticeable after 3 fills.
All right. So what is Lori doing? Is she showing these or writing?
She's showing the ebony black, which she just described as the little black dress of pens.
Oh.
Which goes very well with my little black dress and the little black pen case from Esterbrook. I feel like there were way more things that came in that kit at Christmas this year. But if it's still an Atlas last chance and you want, I believe it's 2 of the Back to the Land pens, they are 50% off.
Hi, Bailey. I see.
Ooh, evergreen. It is a great color. So this is the Benu Hot Toddy from Goldspot. There's a Goldspot exclusive. And I have an affiliate link to them down below. And I also have a tutorial for how to eyedropper it, because it looks really weird with the converter in it because it's clear. I have a couple. I have 2 Benus, but I have to say I do love the Hot Toddy. And I love that Goldspot included a recipe for a hot toddy, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. What is the difference between a push button and vac filler?
All right, so she's showing off the sea glass. I guess that's the core.
I think that's number 4.
Isn't it like mostly core today? So why is sea glass on there?
I don't know.
We don't know.
The full list is Botanical Garden, Nouveau Blue, Sea Glass, Honeycomb, Tortoise, Ebony Black. Those are the 6 we came up with last week with Lori and Vanessa. What's the difference between a push button and a vac? Honestly, I don't know. And I know that isn't helpful, but a lot of this channel is me going, I don't actually know.
The speed and just physics of filling it are different. Just because with push button, you have to go several times and it's like little by little.
And I think I want to say that it's not like this is a true vacuum. Like this chamber's a different pressure. Like even when you take the nib out of here, it's this part's still sealed.
Mm-hmm.
With the push button, I think that's not the case. Again, I haven't actually, I've held one, I've test driven one. I haven't actually filled and used one myself. I'd rather have a specialty nib than a fair.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's why I have a specialty nib versus a push button. That, and I wanted a very specific colorway, which was cobalt, and it did not come in a push button. In the re-release, it only came in a
Well, here's a question, and I looked at it because I have that pen too.
Yeah.
And so here's a question, because this was a special release too back in the day.
Yes.
Right? And this is the Jurassic. So I think they are now marking these special releases, right, with the band.
So that is,
but I'm confused because the Cobalt doesn't have it.
So Cobalt was a re-release, not a special release.
Okay.
I think the plan is that there's going to be more Cobalt released. Don't quote me on that. Whereas Golden Gratitude does have a special release gold band, the same as Jurassic does.
Okay, so if there is a band, there is a possibility. If you don't buy it, you're missing out.
Yes. That is what I had been told, is that a band on the pens on NSD meant that it was a limited release pen. The Benu is too sparkly for me. You've been around this channel for long enough, William, to know that there's no such thing as too sparkly.
This is my sparkly pen. That's the Gold Rush.
This is diamond cast.
I think this one was too. This was a San Francisco theme, so I had to buy it because I'm in the area.
I love the Benu vodka.
That is a, I would call it a disco ball.
I love
and it looks that way.
Vodka.
All right. So
weren't some button fillers? Yes. So with a vintage one, yes, a button filler was a sack filler that instead of using a lever, used a sack or used a button to dispel the sack.
Just chiming in, showing what we see. 2 blue Estes.
Yeah. Is that the case for the Esterbrook one? I don't know. I haven't dug into the mechanism of the Esterbrook one. Is she doing another live sale? Yes.
Yeah. And it's going to be happening several times.
Including next week, where we will not be doing this because we will be having Bryce from Luxury Brands of America on Desk Chatter.
Yeah, it's going to be a regular show.
It is. But it's going to be fun because we're going to quiz him and maybe talk some new Benu stuff because they have just released the PR videos for the Pixie. And I don't know about you, but I really want a Pixie.
I'd test one.
That's fair.
We'll see.
I'm worried that they are smaller than they fall in between these two pens, and I'm sort of worried it's going to be an awkward size.
Right. Yeah.
But
I can see that.
I'm interested to try it. Yeah, there are some pens that I just despise cleaning. Yes, I would say yes, because the only part you'd have to wipe down is the grip section and the nib. I want you to review the Pixie. I don't think I'll have a Pixie in my hand until Chicago in May. Unfortunately, unless a massive swing happens with the Canadian dollar.
Ooh.
Do not think I'll have it in my hand until May, but you never know. Again, YouTube members are funding nib grinds in Chicago, so we'll see what happens. Actually, they're funding many things. They're funding nib grinds, they're funding paper for the channel. YouTube members are essential. Not a fan of pocket pens. I do love a good pocket pen.
All right, can I? She's comparing the tortoise and the honeycomb.
I cannot explain how much I dislike the tortoise.
So I think I'll tell you what I think. I thought they were kind of too similar in a way.
My issue is the tortoise is almost too. The honeycomb is very like warm undertoned. The
Right.
tortoise is very cool, but almost like green undertoned in person.
The tortoise is something I would see as one off and like special release, just because it's such a weird material that not everyone is happy with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was surprised that it's a core.
Yeah. Apparently Bailey will be in Chicago. I will see you in Chicago. It will be a great show. I'm super excited about it. I'm also prepared that like for 5 days I really won't sleep, but it'll be fun. And yeah. The Canadian dollar right now means that I am not shipping anything here. And very few pen companies are being very selective about what they're bringing in. So
Right.
I suspect the Pixie will come in here, but I think I probably won't see it in stores until middle of April. And by that point, what's the difference between waiting 2 weeks and paying less for it from somewhere like Goldspot?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So if you use my Goldspot code, thank you. If you use my Atlas code, thank you. If you use Marina's code when you shop in her shop, thank you. You let us do fun things like this.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking maybe I should get an affiliate with Esterbrook or something, or Atlas. Everyone has an Atlas affiliate.
Everyone has an Atlas code.
I
Get
don't
an
know.
Esterbrook code. Esterbrook codes are more fun.
Yeah, it feels that way. Like I would want to do something with them and maybe Goldspot, like that. Like you can't get those that much. Like a few people have them, but not like Atlas. Which no shade to Atlas.
Yeah. So all the pens tonight are the core line, which is Botanical Garden, Nouveau Blue, Sea Glass, Honeycomb, Tortoise, and Ebony Black. The big thing is that they are coming with the vintage nib adapter and a vintage nib. But there are 13 vintage nib options, and you do not get to choose which vintage nib you get.
But they've assigned those and they've kind of put that in a description for a pen, or it's just on a whim type of thing?
I don't know. I don't know if she's only just said that you don't get to pick your nib or if they've actually put it in the description. I haven't really dug into it. Goldspot and Atlas are my favorite. Gotta agree there, Julia. Love the teams at both places. Love writing for Goldspot.
Yeah,
So
that's a
much
dream
fun.
job, man. That's a good one.
Getting to write about the fountain pen world and inks.
Yeah.
I got to write about my favorite red inks. It was great.
Oh my. And she's still showing all of them. All right.
Oh.
Where's the bidding? Where's the bidding?
Is there another auction? Or is it another giveaway? Oh, it's a giveaway for something.
Doing, the winner.
Oh, they're giving away a nib. Oh, it's just one of the little metal bookmarks. Okay. I have like 5 of them. So it seems like they're only giving away one pen or auctioning one pen tonight. But then they're also, she's mentioned that there's an SD giveaway tonight.
So wait, but they also have a shop. If you click,
they do have a shop. My issue with their giveaway is that you have to give the company your credit card information to enter the giveaway, and that seems suspicious.
All right, so this is what happens when you click on the store. The store gives you options. Oh, sorry. That gives you options for...
Those pictures are so pixelated.
Yeah, I mean, there is no picture, basically.
No. So you get to choose your nib You get to choose your regular Esterbrook nib, but you don't get to choose which vintage nib you receive.
Yeah.
There are 13 vintage nib styles available that are new old stock, and they just send you one of them with the adapter. Marina does have the adapter and a vintage nib, but she bought hers off of eBay, and that meant she got to pick her nib, which is probably how I do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like just getting whatever vintage nib I get. I'm picky.
Well, also Esterbrook used to make them so there's so many out in the world, basically.
Yeah, there's over Esterbrook made over 200 nib styles.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna like them all.
Yeah. So, and my take is if you go to any of the shows, you'll be lucky. If you're in Europe, that's probably in the UK. London Pen Show has a lot of them, I would imagine, because they used to produce them in the UK.
Yeah. And I suspect you'll probably find one or two at most pen shows. I know I definitely saw the Esterbrook nib boxes at Chicago last year and just didn't understand what they were.
Mm.
But
I feel like that's something that's like an extra level. That's when you've already passed that entry point.
You've definitely passed an entry point when you're the whole idea has turned me away from Esterbrook in general. Like them holding one of these auction-y things. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I see. I think people are gonna like it or hate it. That's just how it is.
Yeah. And the reality is there are lots of places you can buy from that aren't directly from Esterbrook. You can buy lots of pens on the secondhand market that are Estes or Esterbrook pens. You can also buy lots of other pens.
And I can repeat that hot tip if you haven't been here. If you can buy a rollerball, it's exactly the same section for exchanging it here and putting the vintage section in. So technically do that.
If you want a pen that's about the same size as an Estes, a Navaler Horizon is a piston pen, and they're about the same size. And I love the Horizon model of pen. They are heavier, but they are very nice. But then you've got countless other pen brands. Bailey loves her Navaler. Yeah, I've got 3 Navalers. And
I have no beef with Esterbrook, to be honest with you. I mean, I like their pens. I never buy full price. I'll be honest. So.
Yeah, that's fair. Looking to see if I have anything else that like falls in a similar price range to Esterbrook.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm like, how many do I have?
It's more than an Estes, but a Visconti Mirage. It's about $65 more than an Estes. If you can get one from somewhere that tests a nib like Goldspot, go for it. I love my Mirage. It's a cartridge converter pen. It is an entry-level Visconti pen. It's fabulous. I absolutely adore it. It's got the hinged clip. Claire Coco got it for me for Christmas. It's great. Julia, the Leonardo Memento Zero is similar. It is. The only one I've got is the Bella de Notte from Goldspot. Love it. There's a video of this up on my channel as well. The nice thing is the nibs of this are interchangeable, and it's got a lovely ink window. Plus, they do so many special editions that you will probably find one in exactly the colorway you're looking for from somebody.
Yep. Yeah, Bailey, I think I have more than these, but I think out of all of these 2 I definitely bought secondhand. And I have more that are not around here somewhere. But I should do a collection video, another collection video.
Yeah, you could do an Esterbrook collection video.
So we'll see how many I have. And yeah, I've never paid a full price for them.
What? they're not streaming next week.
Oh no. Oh well.
They're streaming on the 26th. That's a change of plans.
All right.
Well, that makes it easier for us.
So this was it. They only had this one, and then you could go to the store and buy directly.
Yep.
Am I understanding it right?
And there are still 158 people watching.
Oh wow.
Um,
I'm a little confused though about it, but it was so dynamic last week. That's what I was expecting.
yeah, and I can definitely see. Yeah. Each online platform also has its. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I much prefer. I'm one of those people that I watch. If I'm buying a pen that I have not had in hand before, I will watch my friends' videos on it. I will go and watch Gold Spot's video because Tom normally has a great video going through every nib size in a brand or all the standard nib sizes in a brand, which helps me sort of decide what nib I want to get in a pen. But I would say I'm very much a traditional pen shopper in the at whatever extent I can be. Like, I don't have many local pen shops.
There is something coming up, I think. Were you
Oh
no, she's just showing how many are local.
No, she's just showing it.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. We'll see. We should actually talk and see how they felt about this sale.
Yeah. I have 2 Estes I want. That's fair. The only 2... Do I like Botanical Garden, Nouveau Blue, and Sea Glass? Yes. The only one I'm actually... I guess the only 2 I'm really desperate for are Lilac and Blueberry. Both are only available secondhand.
Lilac is nice, yeah.
I like Lilac, and I like Blueberry, which was a Lilac mistake batch.
That's funny.
I love them both. And the funny thing is, Shannon had them in her hand at Philly and texted me and went, I have a Lilac in my hand. Do you want it? And I went, no. 1, because I couldn't see it myself.
Right.
But 2, it was, again, a lot of money to spend on a pen that I wasn't seeing myself. As much as I trust and love Shannon. And so I didn't get it. And I sort of regret it.
You know, I would get that King of the Night. I do like it.
I do like King of the Night.
Get that one.
But I also loved it in person when I saw it in person. Like, it was just... And really, the thing is, what I love about King of the Night most is its silly little cape.
It is silly. I just watched the review by one of the people I follow, and she was just like, that's not for me, but it's cute.
Like, I love the cape. I would have adored it if Esterbrook just let me take home a cape. I know they wouldn't. But if Esterbrook would just, send me one of the capes, because the cape is also a nib.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Wait, is it like, I thought it was shaped like a bat, not a nib.
It is, but when you unfold it, the middle part of it is a pen nib.
Oh,
with the tines. It's got a little split and 2 tines.
Oh,
I know.
That is cute.
Because it's Esterbrook. I'm afraid to buy swirly pens without seeing them in person. That is fair. There are some that I don't care. If it's a color combination that can't be quote unquote ugly, I don't care.
Well, Sweet Dreams is currently on sale in several stores.
Yes,
because it's a little complicated.
Sweet Dreams is currently on sale. Like,
Pen Boutique had it for really, I think the most discounted I've seen was Pen Boutique had it like 100 off or something like that.
Esterbrook has it on sale, and you can stack an affiliate.
Nice.
Like, this one was never going to be ugly. It's a blue gradient.
Mm-hmm.
This one, never going to be ugly. There are also a lot of pens that I will not buy in person, will not buy without either seeing them in person or ordering from somewhere like Atlas or Goldspot, where when you make your order, you can leave a note and request a specific colorway, and they will do their best to fulfill that request. It doesn't always work, but it mostly works.
Right.
I've heard that there's a great deal of success with it. And yeah. What's the difference between Raven and the King of the Night? Raven is matte black with a matte black nib, and King of the Night is red, black, gold, and pearl white, with a standard gold Esterbrook colored nib in it.
Yeah, and weren't there a bit of a complaints that resin that Raven has turns slightly white?
So the issue is like it's like sort of like a Visconti. Your skin cells stick to it, and it discolors the pen.
Right.
And then you have to clean the pen. King of the Night also comes with the little cape for your pen, some washi, some like envelopes, and it's a great box as well.
It's an experience.
It's an experience. I don't know that I ever posted the PR pics Mom took of it, but they were so amazing. Esterbrook does always know how to package stuff. They do. The packaging on Sweet Dreams. I love that pen.
Yeah, it was very cute.
The issue I have with it is the only one I like is the one that's the really pastel one. And that one seems slightly harder to find currently. And so I'm just like gonna wait until people start to sell theirs. Because that's what happens. At some point, people are gonna start destashing their pens. Somebody just destashed their, I forget what it's called, the wine one. That they did a couple years ago as part of the collection. And Shannon from Couture Pens has added it to her collection. Pens do get destashed. People do put pens up on consignment, and you are able to find them for a reduced price.
Yeah, no, that's like my experience because I buy from the sellers that were just curious. They, you know, they have other collections, but they've heard that Esterbrook came back in and they bought one and they didn't like it. So
yeah, exactly.
They just pick up their stuff.
King of the Night is one I would buy hands down. I believe Goldspot still has them.
Yeah, a couple of places do, and I think their median price is still pretty high. I have not seen it for less than 300, 315.
Yeah, they're not. They're
popular.
And even if they go on sale, I don't suspect they'd go on sale for a couple months. Like you're looking at next summer at least.
They haven't left.
Goldspot has them, or they did last night. Ooh, that's a fun pen.
I've never seen that one. I don't think.
But it's sad that you're not fond of this world. That's like it's hard to buy a resin pen online sometimes. I think you have to trust when you make those requests to a shop. You have to trust that they're gonna try and fulfill it to the best of their requests. Like this person who brought Primary Manipulation, which is one of the hardest resins to buy online. Because this is Primary Manipulation version 4.5, which tells you just how much variation these blanks have had.
That's true. I only have had one, and I really waited.
The
on it,
person
like,
who bought the bungo box also bought the oil slick last week for like, which is the one that
oh,
went for like 850.
I must like it.
Oh, all right. Okay. I do love primary manipulation. It is a pen though that you'd have to buy. I think I'd have to buy it in person. I'm so picky with primary manipulation.
I've seen a lot of them on the secondary market.
That's the thing. I've seen a lot of them and I've disliked a lot of them. There have been a couple I've really liked.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, do I only like you in pictures? Would I like you in person?
Shameless plug-in, but if you haven't seen my video, that's what I'm showing. The one I ended up buying. My last video, I have my primarily manipulation.
Yeah. It's a resin that I love. It's on my list. Like, I don't even care what pen brand it's in. I would just enjoy something in primary manipulation, which I think is something common for most of us who like handmade pens. Most of us like primary manipulation. It's a really cool resin from Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, it's very his style.
It is definitely a hard resin to buy. Hence, they're numbered. William is thinking of selling his cheaper pens. That's fair. I think a lot of us are slowly destashing pens. I know I am. I think you are as well.
Yeah, I am parting ways, probably even with some Mont Blancs, as you know. So we'll see.
Yep. Where is the best, most reliable place to find destashed pens? I pick mine up at estate sales. Is where I've picked some of mine up. I got my Mont Blanc from Toronto Pen Shop, who had a lot of consignment pens in both Mont Blanc and Pelican. There is also a fabulous Instagram page, Virtual Pen Sale.
Oh yes, those are good.
Is that what it's called, Marina?
Yeah, so you can basically, it's very cheap to list with them. So, and it's just, you're going to reach a lot of a bigger audience.
Yeah, I think you pay a $3 fee to have your thing listed up there.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, things that I see listed up there sell in a day or two.
Right.
And if you're trying to destash a lot of stuff at once, maybe that's the way to go. r/pen swap. Lots of people use Reddit. I personally don't like selling pens on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
I find it harder to keep track of messages. I prefer to use something like Instagram, just where it's easier to keep track of messages.
Mm-hmm.
William,
that's what I'm gonna do. Probably, I'm gonna do my Etsy and my Instagram for it too.
Yep. William has one Esterbrook that he'd probably let go of.
I have a Schaefer I'd let go off, I think, from the older pens.
Ooh. That's a pretty pen.
Nice.
Well, actually, I think it's the pen they don't like. It's a Visconti they don't like.
Oh,
you and I both like the idea of it.
Yeah.
But they don't actually
it sounds
like
good,
it.
But you have to see it.
Yes. And I will scroll your IG for the Ophelia.
I know, you were ready. You expressed interest.
Huh?
I'm not opposed, but I'll let you when.
Yeah, there are definitely pens like that I have in my collection. But at the end of the day, like, there's no point in me keeping things I'm not using.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There are some pens, I love everything that is in my collection. I can't tell that but there's some stuff that I feel like, well, maybe someone else could use it better than I can. And that's when you're like, okay, time to let go.
Yeah. All right. The stream is over.
Oh.
Were we surprised about anything tonight?
I'm still seeing it. She's still talking, but is she like ready to say goodbye?
Yeah, they're saying bye.
Aww.
Were we surprised about anything?
Not really. Do you think Lori wants to come on and tell us how she feels?
Lori, you've just been live and now you're driving to Boston, but like come and talk to us for a bit first.
Right.
The Bungo box selling price. Honestly, yes. I have to say I was surprised at the initial bid price.
I was much more surprised last time. That time that one pen sold for, what was it, $960?
$960 last week. Yeah, I could agree with that. But also like the fact that it started at $1 yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was already at $500 at lunchtime today-ish. Like, I don't know that I get it going that high. Like, did people assume that no one's going to destash them from their collections? Because I'm sure that people bought them on impulse purchases.
I think the Japanese collaborations in general are kind of in high demand.
That's true.
Personal opinion. Because don't forget, they also had those very limited, was it makie or urushi pens?
Oh, the urushi. Oh,
and those were $800 on the regular website of theirs. So
I know, but his pens by himself, when you just buy one of his pens, start at over $1,000. And I love his pens. My issue with his pens is he will not put a clip on anything. So if I ever want to get one of his urushi pens, I have to get one of the Esterbrook collab pens.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, I looked at it and was like, I wish I had money, but
that's fair.
Too much, you know.
Yeah. Also, I wish for that amount of money I'd had the ability to choose between a specialty grind nib and a like they came with gold nibs. Honestly, I think I would have rather, like, the specialty grind nibs are harder to get. Let me pick 2 specialty grind nibs instead of a gold nib.
Well, didn't they have one of their Japanese nibmeisters do stuff for them? They could have, like...
Nope, they were just standard fine or medium gold nibs. The pink one, yes, the pink Bungo box sold for $660, $640,
50, I think, 650,
something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So it was a late edition prototype pen, but yeah, that was tonight's auction pen. So if you have one, there's a chance you can get way more for it than you think you can.
Yeah.
Now
we know there are collectors out there willing to pay.
I honestly don't know after seeing tonight's auction that I would list it for anything less than $400.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I'm looking at mine and I was like, is any of those gonna end up being super popular?
Like I know that this one's already, they did 100 of this pen. I know that this one's already going for money in some places.
Right. Yeah.
I'm never going to get rid of it.
Well, it's your special.
Yeah.
Special pen.
But it is going for money.
Yeah.
I just love it. And it's sparkly. Bailey, I missed it. How much did it go for? $650 US.
Yeah.
Which is not the most expensive pen we've seen in these auctions. Last week, one nearly went for $1,000.
It probably did with taxes on top.
Oh, yeah. Because also, as Mom put it, or Mom asked, what's the auction fee from the site?
Well, that is a good question.
Because most places charge a 10 to 20% auction fee. So is Esterbrook paying the auction fee, or is the bidder paying the auction fee?
It's
Wow.
probably Esterbrook, I would imagine.
I would suspect it's Esterbrook, probably, but you never know. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this because, like, I got my one. You have far better morals than lots of people. You should be commended for that. We've talked about this pen before in my video. I had to make it very clear that I did not pay what this pen was retailing for, which is my Mont Blanc 146. I love it, but I did not pay what it sells for on eBay. I did not pay what the sold listings were on various sites because I was seeing it being sold and having had sold for as much as $800 US.
Yep. You probably paid something closer to what it used to cost back in the day. If even. I don't remember how much they were, but I think at some point they were, what is it nowadays? Like close to 1,000?
I can tell you is it 1,500? I think it's 1,500 Canadian to get one.
Yeah, so
I got
in US.
I haven't talked about how much I bought this for.
Someone told 80s it used to be $200 or something like that.
Yeah. Canadian. And it has popped up 3 or 4 times on the pen Instagram page in the past couple weeks. And all of them for significantly more for what I paid for it. Pens sell for different amounts. If there's a pen you really want and somebody is willing to pay that much for your bungo box, I don't know that I necessarily have an issue with it because it's somebody else making a stupid decision with their money.
Yeah. I mean, I already know which one from Esterbrook's I would part ways with if I had to. I might. And it's fine. There is nothing wrong with that.
Like, I know the one I'd absolutely keep. There's one that's not going anywhere.
Right.
But if something absolutely awful happened, there are 4 I could part with. That's the truth.
Yeah. No, it's like that's my Mont Blanc collection, and I'm not gonna, be like, well, this is all just because I love how beautiful Mont Blanc is. I do, but it's also investment in a way, and pens are not a great investment.
No.
We all know.
No.
But if you had to choose, Mont Blanc is probably one of those that is on the safer side. So if anything happens, I can just sell off my Mont Blancs.
Yeah, that is a pen that's actually gone up in value significantly.
I do believe that Pelikan holds its value too.
Yeah. I think the higher end Pelikans hold their value much more than the lower end Pelikans. Though, if you have the pens of the year, especially the popular ones, I see those popping up for sale all the time.
But I also think that specific pen that is being mentioned is Renaissance Brown because they re-released it.
Yeah, so if you've got the old release or the new release.
That's also a difference. There's also, but that's a different conversation about Pelikans. Have you noticed how they changed their bands a little bit?
All my Pelikans are new.
All right. Yeah, no, I think it's mostly the 800s and 1000.
I love that you think I have I have 2 M200s.
I have 1 800 and a couple of 400s.
My Mont Blanc was vintage from eBay. Mine is vintage from Toronto Pen Shop and from the same era. And I adore it. It's currently got Mont Blanc Jane Austen in it because I am clearly a lover of Mont Blanc inks because vintage safe. Oh, yeah. I don't see, my thing is I'm not super picky about, like, as long as the nib writes well, I'm not super picky about the gold quality.
I am not into the gold quality, but I do. If I ever buy the 149 that is vintage, I'm probably gonna do ebonite feed only.
That's fair.
So.
Yeah, my 146 is an ebonite, and I really like the ebonite in it. Surprisingly, though, my favorite gold nib pens right now, I have a Sailor with a medium hard nib, which feels like a mechanical pencil when you write with it, and for whatever reason, I love it. And then the Parker Black Tassie with the 14 karat gold nib. Like, by far my favorite gold nib pens currently, because this one is such a smooth writer.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a fun, though. Like, that's the fun of the fountain pens, I feel like, in general. You find them suitable and for your different needs, and just like they have their own characters. And
100%.
That's what we've probably all attracted to, but that's also what is so hard to explain to someone who is like, what are you doing? You know, why fountain pens?
You spend how much on pens and ink?
So it's just, yeah, but that's the fun of it.
William would get rid of his sea glass. Yeah.
How is the extra fine? That's the one nib I don't have.
I don't have an extra fine from them. I've got a fine, I've got a mini stub, I've got a medium, and I've got a broad. So I don't know. He's also got the Renaissance Brown and an M800 and an M1000.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's a good way to look at it. How much they add joy and improvement to your quality of life. Mm-hmm. Giant wall of ink adds a great deal of joy to my quality of life. Having far too many pens inked up currently adds a great deal of joy to my quality of life. If I can actually grab this tray. Can I? Like, so many things inked up. Great deal of joy to my quality of life. If you missed February's inked video, we're running everything dry before Chicago. Before this all starts over again with a new pen show. Because some of these things have been inked since the sidewalk sale in August. Which tells you how well they seal. But still. I'm tired of some of them, so it's time to run them dry.
So wait, you're doing Chicago, and then you're doing one of the Canadian shows?
I'm doing Chicago, and then so currently on the books is Chicago, and then script is all the way in October.
Yeah.
Other stuff might be thrown in. Currently, just those two. My Visconti nibs are my favorite gold nibs. I do not have a gold nib Visconti yet. I say yet because, as I learned last year, you never know what's going to happen in a year. But I do love my Sailor gold nibs. It's not a bad extra fine. It just isn't my style.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I do find Esterbrook size 6 nibs are very, very well tuned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that is true. Because, I buy a lot of them, as you know.
Yeah.
And I've had some misses, like really bad experiences, especially from, I love my hand turn pen makers, but they specialize in bodies. They don't really specialize in nibs a lot of times.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I also feel about, it's the same nib technically that Esterbrook uses, but theirs is so much more tuned usually than most of the other sellers out there.
So, and this is because you've got a Japanese nib versus a North American nib. Yovo size 6 nibs and Bach nibs and Schmidt nibs all tend to run wider than Japanese nibs. That's standard across the board. You're going to find that with Pilot. You're going to find that with all the various Japanese brands. So while they are considered to be fine, they're not something like a Japanese extra fine.
Right.
I'm not buying pens to make money. I'm buying them for inspiration on writing and to use them. Yeah.
And that's how it should be.
Yep.
That is true.
I love the Sailor pens that feel like a pencil. I do too. And I have to say, I didn't love it until I got
this. Was one of my favorite Sailors too. Are you showing yours?
Yeah. My fountain pen Hospital Blue Moon. I did not love it, like that sort of feedback style, until I got this pen.
Mine is 1990s Jade, I think. It's old new stock with a different nib. Your nib is like more ornate, I think, than mine.
Mine is a 14K medium hard gold nib.
Yeah, same, just different impression.
Yeah, from a friend's collection. I love this pen. It's great. It has been in my pen case now for like 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
I love this Sailor feedback. Yeah, it's great.
And that's what I've heard. It's either for you or it's not for you, right?
It's not. I don't like feedback in a lot of pens. Most of the time it bugs me. There's something about Sailors, and specifically that pen, that I really like it. I do not have an Aurora.
Yeah, that's the next one on my list. I'm a huge fan of Centimis, and I have a couple.
I know.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Aurora too.
I have yet to try Sailor's 21K nibs. Actually, I have tried them. I don't own one. They're on the bigger models, and everything I have is a Pro Gear Slim or a 149S. Nope, that's not a pen model. That's a Mont Blanc pen model. It's a 1911S. Can you tell I have a brain injury?
Yeah, well, it's late for you.
It is late. Is that pen jade celluloid, Marina?
Yes, it is. It is. And that whole series is really pretty. They also have the azurite, I believe, or lapis lazuli or something like that. Yeah. And other calicos and whatnot. Very pretty stuff.
All right. We're going to make this our last comment because words are hard at this point. But it's been lovely chatting with everyone. I love this pen. Yeah. I love this ink. Am I ever going to get them? No, they're really expensive.
Can I just say Rialo is my favorite? I have one Rialo, and I think it's just the best. You don't have to deal with converters. I did not like their converters very much.
Yeah, I have feelings on the Sailor converters. I feel similarly to how I do about the Con 40. But I love the Cinderella ink from Bungo Box. I love the whole container. I love the cap. Can I justify what they charged for it?
No.
Before I try and get it imported into the country? No.
Yeah, but it's nice.
So instead, I am going to lust after it.
Yeah, I wish they made more Rialos because I just feel it's so great. It's so easy to use. But yeah.
All right. Well, this has been lovely. I hope you enjoyed this. Apparently Jet Pens has the ink. I may have to go and investigate how much is it Jet Pens. How much is shipping from Jet Pens? And I hope you enjoyed. For all of you people that didn't want to watch the auction but wanted to hear what was going on, I hope this brought you joy. Because maybe we'll do it again. Because we're not doing a podcast on the 26th. So we'll see what the topic of their 26th event is, and we'll decide.
We'll see if they can come on after and talk about it.
We'll see if Esterbrook was okay with this, and then we'll decide.
All right, guys.
Have a great evening. Thank you two for the chat. Do it again.
Hey.
Well, as long as Esterbrook isn't upset with us, I don't see why we won't be doing it again.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.